Well, with me in the studio is Husam Zomlot, who's head of the Palestinian Mission to the UK. Thanks very much indeed for coming in to talk to us. What's your reaction to this latest statement from the more than 20 countries regarding Gaza?
Strong words. We welcomed it officially. We do need to see the unity and the consensus of the international community. We commend the UK government for leading the efforts to actually issue such a strong statement. But, you know, strongly worded statements, time is long past that. Time is long. We need action, and we need it now. Children are dying of hunger on the 21st century, live on TV. So we were expecting the declaration, the announcement of a series of serious actions that would actually stop this carnage.
So it's clear from the latest incidents with both the UN aid and Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid distribution is not working properly. What would you like to see in place instead of that?
Please don't call it the Humanitarian Foundation. Please. Call it whatever you want, Lauren, okay? But it's not a humanitarian and it's not a foundation. These are death traps. Those people in charge are war criminals. There will be accountability, and you will soon be describing them as war criminals. I've seen that you have hosted the chairman of this death trap, this monstrous institution. This person particularly has to be behind bars very soon and be indicted with war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Well, I mean, at the moment, Israel would push back against that description of it. But this, just to bring me back to what you think needs to happen on the ground. I mean, at the moment, there are talks, aren't there, ongoing about a ceasefire. How imminent is that?
But I'm sorry to push back, Lorraine. Israel can push back whatever it wants. We need to discuss what the ICJ is saying, what the ICC is saying, what the UN is saying, what the whole world is saying, not what Israel is justifying.
And so in terms of practicalities, where at the moment the UN is having trouble getting aid in, what do you want to see? You mentioned that you want action from these countries that have signed this. What action do you want?
Actually, the issue is not aid. There is enough aid. The issue is the blockade. Israel has been putting Gaza on complete, utter blockade. No food, no nothing coming in or out of Gaza. People have money. People will just want to go and buy their own food. Israel is using starvation as a method of war. This is deliberate. This is by design. And by the way, why are they invading Deir al-Balah? It's the last remaining small area of Gaza that still has some sort of a community, some sort of water still there. So this is complete and utter act of campaign of erasure, extermination and annihilation. They have destroyed all the agricultural land. They have destroyed all the livestock in Gaza. They are shooting and killing our fishermen if they dare go to fish. So they are depriving the people, the families, of any source of food. Why do you think is that? Why?
So the UN has managed to get some lorries of aid in just recently, but again, there was an issue with that, a security incident. When you talk to the UN, what are your conversations with them about what they can get in? Because the blockade has now stopped. There is some aid coming in, but not obviously as much as people would want.
We always talk to the UN, and the UN tell me and tell you and tell the world they're ready. The UN has been there for 77 years. The UN has the most extensive structures. The UN is absolutely transparent, and it has been delivering aid and food to the people that are in need in the most efficient way. It's Israel that prevents the UN from doing its business on purpose, because the UN would enable people to be fed and to breathe and to live. And this is exactly what Israel doesn't want. It wants to see a complete annihilation of the people of Gaza. It is not just, some incidents here and there. Can't the world see the pattern here?
Yeah. Israel has said that the statement from these different countries, the 24 countries, fails to focus the pressure on Hamas and fails to recognise Hamas's role and responsibility for the situation, and they put the blame again on Hamas. That's Israel's position. Just on the issue of the ceasefire, we know that the US wants to put pressure, has said that it wants to put pressure on Israel to come to a ceasefire. What are you hearing from the US as to whether that's actually making any difference and whether there's going to be a ceasefire anytime soon?
The Netanyahu is not interested. Netanyahu wants only to save himself at the expense of our people, at the expense of his own people, the region and the rest of the world. Netanyahu, every time the US and the other mediators, Qatar and Egypt, take one step, Netanyahu takes 10 steps backward. He changes the goalpost all the time, and therefore we don't have a ceasefire. And even if we have a ceasefire, we had 3 ceasefires before. proposed by the US and the rest of the mediators, and Netanyahu breached all the 3 ceasefires. We need to make sure that we have the sufficient pressure on Israel, and that's why the action, that Israel will be brought into compliance and will be, the international will have to be enforced. What is happening in Gaza is not going to stay in Gaza, Lauren.
No.
It's not going to stay in Gaza. This is going to dent all of us, will taint all of us, will stain all of us. And the question is, who's next? So if we do not now enforce the international the consequences will be absolutely severe.
And this may be moving two steps away because we haven't got to a ceasefire yet. But given the weakening of Gaza and the weakening of the institutions within, the weakening of Hamas, I should say, and the weakening of the institutions within Gaza, what would you see as a functioning government for Gaza after a ceasefire? I'm
sorry, Lauren, there is no weakening of Hamas. There is weakening of our people and their structures and their hospitals and their schools and their universities. 90% of Gaza's hospitals, schools, universities, homes are gone. This has nothing to do with Hamas. Let's set that record very clear. But we have a plan. The plan is absolutely ready. It's presented to the world. We have the consensus of the Arab world, the consensus of the international community, including the UK government, in support of that plan, whereby Gaza will be governed by a legitimate Palestinian technocratic government. There is no political faction in it. That Gaza and the West Bank is one unity, that the unity of our people, political system, and there will be a massive reconstruction so people are enabled and able to stay on their home. But one last thing, this issue is about something we knew for 77 years, that Israel has no regard for Palestinian lives. But this is about time that we see the world and the rest of the international community, do they have regard to Palestinian lives and human lives in general, and are they capable to implement their own rules and their own values?
Husam Zomlot, thank you very much indeed for coming to talk to us. Thank you.